Okay, while we have these physics meshes here that have just sort of self-generated themselves, in your physics options in your physics option, there's a little play button looking thing, there's one that's like in a window, right? There's a play button and there's one like by itself and one in a window. Click the one in a window and it's going to bring up a gray window with Mr. Thor here, and then if you hit play, it's actually going to show you how the cape works in real time. And as you can see, the cape is reacting to the physics meshes that we have in place, and it doesn't look that good because obviously those physics meshes are not how we want them. So what we want to do is shrink those physics meshes and move them into their appropriate place. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first physics mesh we're going to start with is the spine 2. So click spine 2, and then if you scroll down, so in your attribute editor here, you should be seeing spine 2, and if not, click there's a green little guy above Thor, a little icon. Click that little icon, and then on the right hand side you can hit Control A a couple times, and that may pop out your attribute editor, and then you'll see spine 2. And then if you scroll down under shape setup, click shape, click the rigid body there, and once you select the actual rigid body, you can hit W, E, and R to scale that, rotate it, and move it. The other thing is you want to scroll down to the capsule settings, and the capsule settings, you can change the radius and the height. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to move and rotate this capsule so that and scale the capsule so that the capsule balls are where the shoulders are. And so you want to rotate that capsule like 90 degrees and then move it like to where basically it like the balls cover his shoulders. And it's a little wonky, but and it does not have to be perfect by any means. And you can hit 4 and 5 on Thor, the 4 and 5 buttons, to like see him with his mesh and see him without the mesh. So if you guys look up here, you can see how I've kind of shaped that capsule. And again, it does not have to be perfect. And I'm not sure if we're going to keep all the spine spine nodes. We may just keep spine 1 and get rid of spine 2, because I'm not sure we're going to need it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're supposed to do it on spine 2, but I'm not sure if I want to keep spine. I don't think it actually really matters whether you want to. We only really need one of those, to be honest with you. So you can remove spine 1 or spine 2. Let's just kill spine 1. So you can select spine 1 and remove it. And the only thing that's kind of annoying about this is you can't do two shapes at one time, which is kind of annoying. And I'm actually going to change. I'm going to change spine to a sphere. And I'll also change hips to a sphere. Actually, the hips may be better as a capsule. And then the lower legs will be capsules as well. And again, I'm kind of experimenting here. There's really no right or wrong way.
Spine 2 into a spear?
Actually, it's looking like I'm kind of making everything a capsule. Because you can, like, kind of fit it around the body and... Can you guys see those moving in real time? One of the things you definitely have to do is change your renderer. So up at the top it says renderer. Change that from viewport 2.0 to legacy default viewport. Because you can't see these things in real time in the 2.0 renderer for some reason. Everybody getting the hang of this?
The capsule, it's got a height right here. The height is going to expand the width of the capsule. And the radius is going to expand the radius of it. Which sounds kind of stupid.
You guys getting the hang of it over there? You guys okay?
Yeah, just trying to figure out something.
Take your time.
Yeah, because I did what you did. You deleted spine 1, but for some reason I can't move my capsules.
The way you move the capsule is you select the little green man
Okay.
and hit W. But you have to select where it says shape setup below. You have to select the actual shape.
Okay, I got it.
You see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
How big are you making the capsules?
You can look, if you look up here, I've like got my shoulder one that goes across, and then these are kind of like, see how I did the midsection? I've got the hips as kind of like a thicker capsule. You just want to make sure that like the back of your capsule sticks out past Thor's mesh, his spine, so that the cape bounces off that.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of common sense, you know what I'm saying? I'm using common sense here. I don't think there's really any like for sure way to do this. I think what you don't want is it penetrating through his body. And I've used a lot of physics systems in the past, and this is actually like a pretty damn good tool. And when you're finished, you can click that that test button and test out how your physics mesh is working. Test out your little capsules. When you're done, save your file as a new file. Get that. It takes a while to kind of tweak the capsules.
Is this the one you use for shoulders? Big one?
If you select
I think so.
spine 2 is the one I use.
Okay.
How do you guys getting there?
Is this right? It's not.
As long as it doesn't look like crap when you test them out.
It doesn't look too bad to me. I mean, I've got to get.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
You want him to have kind of like a flat range, right?
You just don't want the cape penetrating through his back, because when he's gonna run, he's gonna stop. The cape's gonna bounce off his back.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I think I'm gonna make the legs just slightly longer.
You might have too many spine joints. I'll give it a spine 1.
I think that looks okay. That looks okay. Very mine right now. Let's test it.
And I'll show my physics mesh here.
Hey! Well, you didn't press play yet. Oh. Hey!
Crash?
No, I got my cape to work.
Oh, cool.
Beginner's luck.
You got your cape to work?
Yeah, because like I can show you.
Alright, let me see. Make sure you save.
Oh.
And if you guys look up here, you can see how my physics mesh is. So you've got spine 3, spine, hips, and legs. That's it. It's good to keep these things like as efficient as possible because it definitely takes computation power from the engine to run this all this stuff in real time.
Yeah, I like that.
Did it work?
Yeah.
There you go. It ain't perfect, but guess what?
It works.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
It's easy once you get caught up. What do you need help with?
You need to go over here.
Yeah, cause look up at mine.
No, it's like you still need to scale your physics sections there.
I need help with weak stuff.
Casey, what happened?
I animated it. Nothing went wrong.
Look at Casey.
But at least it.
Oh.
Casey, look.
You do that SpongeBob pepper thrust.
Source film.
So everything's a capsule. So hit Control Z.
Wow, I still got money. That's surprising. I thought.
Your little guy should scale.
Yeah, the way I've been feeling. And what did you say this as? It's like Thor C3?
This one is C4.
Okay. I went in say those are both different sides. Like players test it out. See, that's okay.
Yeah, Casey actually figured out how to animate him.
I wish you could like throw stuff into the sea and cable like into oh god.
Whoa. Casey's actually ahead of us.
Casey's ahead.
Maybe I can be his dog.
All right, everybody got their scene good? Everybody all set?
Chris?
Hey,
Hey, man.
how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I see a 22 over there.
Yes, we want to put in more there and more there.
Okay.
Everybody got their scene? Everybody good? Let's move on here.
Do you remember who you ordered those from?
I don't.
Okay.
I got an email.
Okay.
You guys all set? You guys all set? You guys all set?
I animated a little bit. It looks like it's doing well, I'm just in the room over there. Let me know if you want to come by.
Okay. Good to see you.
See you too. Thanks for getting those. Yeah. Stay in touch.
We want more.
Yes. I want you to have one.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's move on here. It doesn't matter if your physics mesh is perfect. We just need to make sure that Mr. Thor gets the love and care that he needs. All right. So go ahead and save your scene. We'll save this one as Thor Rig C4. And okay, so now what we need to do, we need to go ahead and export this guy for Unreal. So go ahead and go to File, Export All. Well, actually, go to Window, Render Editors, Hypershade. I'm just going to make sure that the stuff is saved correctly. You should have 3 materials there. One should be called Cape or Cape 1. One's called Thor, and another one should be called, looks like it's called Material something. Change that material to hammer.
I could.
If not, then
Well, they're the same materials we've been using. They're the same materials
Yeah,
we've
but
been
something
using.
we say.
Oh, do you not have them?
No, no, this computer. He's on the computer.
Oh, do you need them?
It's feeling good outside.
So the best thing to do is to, so is your file saved? All this camera. The best thing to do when you don't have textures.
You know how to do that.
Read first.
Double click on Thorny.
It's here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was just like a
Oh,
Actually,
I got it.
so your
Yeah,
textures are
okay.
So you guys don't have textures over there?
Oh, he did it, but he got them now. And then he named that one too.
So just open that Thor file.
And call them and then call them into the first one. That one. They call it Hammer. Double click it. And they're gonna fall on it.
Oh, I'm just calling him.
Yeah.
You know what this one's name is?
Call it.
You guys got textures?
Yep.
Y'all set? Okay. Alright, moving on here. So we're going to export this guy. And there's two things we need to export from here. One is the mesh, and two is the physics stuff. So first things first, go to File, Export All. And in the options down below, change it to FBX. Should say Files of Type. And we're going to export this, and we're going to call it Thor to Unreal. And before you export, there are a ton of FBX options here. You want to turn on smoothing groups in geometry. You want to turn off animation. You want to turn off cameras and lights. And you want to turn on embed media.
Where did FBX options at again?
On the right hand side. I will say all of that again. In geometry, turn on smoothing groups. In animation, turn animation off. Cameras and lights, turn off. Embed media, turn on. I'll say those options one more time. Smoothing groups on in geometry. Animation off in animation. Cameras and lights off. Embed media on.
Hey, Chris.
And name this file Thor to Unreal and hit export. Yeah.
I don't have the FBX option in my.
You have to switch it to the FBX file.
That means your FBX again you just export on. Might be that sometimes.
Hardware animations for Thriller. There you go. For Thriller. No, seriously. It's you start with the Thriller idle, and then you can go to the Thriller.
Okay, so once that exports, now we need to export the cape. So select the cape and go to File, and this time not export all, but export selection. Now in export selection, do the drop down to PhysX, and then in the PhysX options, there's a checkbox that says Export PhysX Assets, Include Collision Rig, and we want to change it from APB to APX. And we're not going to need the export project and the export scene. I don't think we need those. And then go ahead and name this cape, and then hit export. And now go ahead and hit Control A to where you can see your layers. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the mesh layer back to R, and on bind joint layer, turn that to R as well. And then in show, go to show none, show polygons, and then go to show NURBS curves. So all we should really see here should be NURBS curves and polygons, and we should only be able to select Thor, Thor's controls. Then save this file as something new, of course, and remember what this file is. Actually, this file, I want you to save, I want everybody to have the same name here. I want you to call it Thor Rig. Thor Rig, and some of you guys should have that file already. You can just override it. thorrig.ma. Thor Rig. The next thing I want you to do is let's go to Mixamo and let's get some more animations. So go ahead and log into Mixamo. And the animation we're looking for here is Run with Sword. So we want to go ahead and download Run with Sword. And there should be one that says Walk with Sword. And we want a one-handed walk with a sword, if there is such a thing. Yeah, there we go. One's called Sword and Shield Walk. He doesn't have a shield, but that's okay. He looks tough. He looks tough when he's doing it, so. Sword and Shield Walk. And then go ahead and download those FBXs.
For these run stuff, are they in place or not?
Can you change them to in place?
No.
Are you serious? Oh, wow.
It's in place. Sweet.
Yes, we need to do that. That will save us a lot of time. I did not know that you could do that, but that is fantastic. Casey, you, sir. You, sir. Yeah, there's a button that says in place. Change those both to in place. That is,
That makes a big difference.
wow.
Okay, so when you put it in place, it makes it a cycle, because a lot of times, like when I was doing things.
Casey, you just saved the day.
I have a question. How come Thor's walking
Remember, a lot
backwards?
of times I was going into Maya and having to turn the
Because you
movement
selected the
forward
animation of him
into
walking
an
backwards?
in-place motion. Yeah.
You want
That
sword.
just fixed that.
Does everybody know which animations we want here? Sword and Shield Walk and Run with Sword. Sword and Shield Walk and Run with Sword. The guys that weren't here last time that didn't get Thor into Mixamo, it's probably best if you just get these animations from somebody at this point. But when you download these, you want to download them as an FBX without skin, 30 frames per second. And then just go ahead and queue download.
Chris, they have a 4-part thriller animation. I think I know what I'm gonna do with my right now.
So who wasn't here last time that doesn't have Thor in the Mixamo? I guess probably you and Stefan. Are you?
I had a last
He got disappeared.
one. Me too. I wasn't here.
You weren't here last time? Okay. You probably want to throw Cameron, can you throw those animations on a
I got
okay. And then Pasha, are you caught up at all, or are you broken and lost at this point?
So Sword and Shield Walk and what else?
Sword and Shield Walk and Run with Sword in place. And all of these should not move, they should be in place. So you want to make sure that there's a little checkbox on these that Casey found, because he's a boss.
Man, Casey, it's a friend.
And that will save us some serious time.
And he said it's in place. That's my assets.
Yeah, Cameron, you know that's going to save us some time.
Can I borrow you like 5 seconds? Can I borrow you for like 5 seconds quickly?
It's always a checkbox.
Yep.
No, it's a checkbox.
Yeah, because I know what we're going to have to do with it if we didn't put it in place.
Yeah, that's so much.
Yeah, so
We
download
had to figure it out.
make sure it's in place. And then
Yeah,
download
me
the other
too.
one too.
Yeah, that was one of my. That was I found
The biggest thing for animation is
so you have
in
sword and
place.
shield walk.
At least for moving.
You want
Did something
run with
weird
sword
happen when I tried to export
in
it?
place. You guys got them downloaded?
Did I read import or export?
Export.
We all got that.
Okay, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
You guys good?
And then what that
Roger,
is?
good.
You select the cake. You have it.
Okay.
What is the name?
Which one? Run with sword. And then sword and shield walk.
Roger,
Like that.
Roger, do you have a flash drive?
In place.
No, I don't have to.
Select, well, first go to physics.
Actually, can you put both those
And
animations
name
in
it
flash drive?
as-
Flash drive?
No, export, not yet. Export physics asset.
And just, I would just, at this point,
And,
since he doesn't have Thor in
Include
his
collision ready.
I would just give him those, and then we'll give him Roger too. So it's good.
Pull down. I didn't play for the last two much. And you should be good.
And then I got my download. Put it download.
No scan.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
And now that I get the
This is a good day, man. Very good day. That checkbox made me so happy. I don't even know if that checkbox was there last semester. Like, I think it's a new
It was.
checkbox.
It was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
okay. Then my ignorance was there last semester. Okay, so it's run, your sword in place, and sword and shield walk in place. Those are the maximum of the actions. So we want to say, I usually create an FBX file because I like having all the like animations.
got the animations.
Good. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and move ahead here, since we have the majority is moved ahead. Go ahead and open your Thor animation ready file.
Oh, to put in a mixer? Or oh, don't worry about putting it in a mixer. Okay. That's all.
So when you open your Thor animation ready file, you want to check your reference editor. So go to File, Reference Editor, and make sure that it's referencing. Make sure that it's referencing the file that we just saved, which is the rig file. So if it's not, mine's referencing some C2 or something. Right-click on that and go to File. Replace, Reference, and replace it with that rig file. So mine's called Thor rig. So that's the cool thing about referencing, is that you can literally just swap out whatever is referenced. So if you have a billion animation files that reference one file and you need to make a change within all of them, you can just swap the file out and it updates.
And it's a store rig.
Okay, reference.
Yeah, Thor, the file that you just saved, Thor rig.
Camera.
No, not create reference. Just go to reference editor. And in your reference editor, right click on the file that's in there and go to reference, replace reference with the file you just saved a second ago, which is your Thor rig.
Now, what if it's somebody that doesn't have a reference on camera?
The file you need to be opening right now is the animation ready file, which we created last time. Alright, and then everybody open up your Mixamo script. So click the little script editor button in the bottom right. And go to File, Source Script, and change it from Mel at the bottom to Python. and you wanna mine I had to go up a level into the scripts file and open up that Maya script, and then click on animate and import import the run with sword in place.
Mine's not in place.
What's that?
It didn't stay in place.
Casey,
Yours did, why?
then re-export it, my friend. Make sure the option is checked on. And you should have Mr. Thor looking like this.
I got an error.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk around and make sure everybody is good to go here. That's it.
Okay. Probably the reason is when you move those over in this file. So where is the 7Z? Yeah, you missed this. That needs to go over. So this is C, music, student, there you go. So animate and import that run animation.
So I was trying to do where it is the script.
Okay, Bryce,
Yep.
help him with the scripts. How are you guys doing? Errors?
Yeah, error Maya auto control rate is not defined. That's pretty weird. There's the path is right.
Go ahead and do it again. You did source script, right? No, do source script.
Go to source scripts.
Casey, you good? Good
Go to
job.
animate.
You good? You good? What? Good job, guys.
It's still gonna be the same.
Go into that. Go open up my computer and go into that directory.
Yeah.
You good here?
Import all of them or just one?
You're actually gonna have
Run
Just one at a
with
time.
please.
Let's do one at a time.
You have two Thors. I know
With my documents.
you reference that here.
Now, Casey, how can I test to see I got both the animations inside?
You don't put them both on in the same file.
That I imported both these Run the Sword and Walking Machine.
Well, I think one's leaving override.
Okay. So just do one, just do Run. Cause Run's in it right now.
Yeah. Well, if it stays in place and he runs,
What the heck?
well, they're you overrode. Okay, what you did was you imported one animation. It has a certain number of frames. Then you imported the other one, and it overrode.
Okay.
But because it doesn't have as many frames as the other one, it jumped.
Okay.
Yes.
So instead of my animations complete.
But make sure it's in here.
Now import your file.
And then press Q download.
I'm so confused what that's there because I ordered
And
source
it will
scripts.
save as
Scripts.
you may have added in here.
Kill me with this left
You
hand.
need to resave it then. That file. Which one? Actually, both easy.
So what's okay?
So reopen for the rig.
We've done this 1,000 times.
Set mine real quick.
File open.
No, I don't. Maya
Your rig file.
auto control rig.
Which is what we made last time.
Got it. Gonna find it complete.
Maya auto.
You weren't here last time, were you?
No.
Okay.
Don't save.
Okay.
Now file.
Maya 2015.
Circuit editor.
Oh,
Change that to
Uh,
Brewery.
mix and mode auto. Because you got it in this folder.
Oh, did I? I just tried to cross.
Okay, now this is now if you reload it just
Outside of this.
Looks like you're good to go.
That was a simple.
So now
Sorry. Thank you.
click here.
Are they good?
File.
Yeah, you're good.
Where did homeboy go? He took off.
I guess.
Alright, as soon as Roderick's ready to go, we're ready to go here. For you guys... Alright, so we need to export Thor now. This animation. Go to File, Export All. And we're going to change some FBX settings here. Change... well, first of all, yeah, change your FBX settings. All we need going to change here is turn on animation and check on bake animation. And we're going to call this run to Unreal. Run to Unreal. So you're going to turn on, you're going to check, file export all, check on animation, and check on bake animation. We're exporting this as an FBX and call it run to Unreal. And when you're done, save this Maya file as a different name. You're going to call this Thor Run. So save scene as, and I will call this Thor Run. And now we're going to do the exact same thing we just did with this guy, with the walk. So open up your animation ready file again, then open up your script, import the walk,
Don't you have to change your reference editor every time?
if you open up your animation ready file and change the reference and save it over your animation ready file, then you don't have to do that every time.
Okay.
Make sense?
Are we baking the whole timeline?
We don't need a bake.
Don't bake exports.
Oh, on export? Yeah, bake, yeah.
Okay.
Make sure
so
that
full timeline or just whatever's.
when you import your animation for Mixamo, it sets the timeline accordingly, and when you go to file export,
This is doing full range, so you want us to export.
it shouldn't be on full range.
Well, this
Wait, what do you mean full range?
Like it's displaying 1 through 19 because that's a loop.
Uh-huh.
The export settings are 1 through 200, which is the time range.
Everything should be like automatic. This is a...
That's the loop, 1 to 19. But the export one's 1 to 200. So you said like 1 to 19.
It's a run cycle. It doesn't matter. But yes, Casey, that's a good find. When you're done with Thor, again export all. Or when you load him in, again export all. Make sure animation's checked on. Make sure bake animation is checked on, and then change it to this one would be walk to Unreal, and then export all. Is it full? So we exported the walk and we exported the run.
Wait a minute, did you export geometry with that?
Piece of stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It won't make a difference. Everybody good? Okay, when you're done, let's go into Unreal. So fire up Unreal, and we want to launch 4.10.2. And we're going to launch a new third-person project. So click on New Project, click on Third Person, No Starter Content, Create.
I didn't make it. We had to do it. That I did not. It's just that I get distracted. New project, third person, no starter.
Correct. You good over there, Roderick?
Yep. Unreal's just loaded up, making
Okay.
the project, and then
Third person.
yep.
And then we get to get Steve Thor around. I love Unreal. I hate something. Why do we have to learn it? Fucking kids.
Because Unreal wasn't out yet.
No, because in Josh's class, he's teaching us Unity instead of Unreal.
Well, we get to Unreal later.
Josh Carter?
Yeah.
You'll get to Unreal.
Yeah. Trust me, we'll get to Unreal.
Unity is really confusing.
Yeah. I know, Unreal's like so easy. Okay, you guys, let's move on here. Everybody got Unreal launched, their third person thing launched here. In content, make a new folder and call it Thor. So click on content, right click, new folder, and call it Thor. And then in there, in that folder, click on import, and we're going to import very, very specific file. No. Where is Mr. Thor? Okay, we are going to import Thor to Unreal.fbx. Is that right? We did export over that, right? Earlier, I believe so. Thor to Unreal, and when you do that, change the skeleton to the mannequin skeleton. So when you do it, FBX options should pop up. There's a skeleton setting, change that to UE4 mannequin skeleton, and then hit import all. And the reason why you do that, what it does, and then say yes to all, what it does when you do, it's going to complain about some stuff, but that's okay. What that does is it basically uses the current animation set from the mannequin and the current animation blueprint from the mannequin. So everything that's already set up for this guy that runs around in the game, yeah, it uses that stuff. But don't look at that. That's bad. Yeah, I don't know why. This guy broke for some reason. So when you're done with that, double click on Thor, and you can pull your tab into your main window. That's super annoying for me. So the first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and load in an animation. So if you click on his animation tab in the upper right, let's go ahead and load in that idle. So slide over where it says type, slide that over so you can see the names of the animations, and right click on third person idle and re-import, and you want to load in there should be an FBX called idle to Unreal. Go ahead and load that in. Should be in your folder. If you don't have that, I think we finished with this yesterday. You may need to go open that file again and re-export it. This is a file that we actually loaded into. We had it in Maya and exported it out of Maya. So I believe everybody, most everybody should have it in here. It looks like this. It should be, if you have an FBX called idle to Unreal. That's what you're looking for.
I have a Thor owl.ma that I need FBX.
Um,
No, it's not.
You should have it. If you got the stuff from what's his face, you should have it in here. What's the price of numbers?
But I have
Oh, you have the idol and mix one? I didn't. Did you save this? Alright, well save it over your animation ready file. What is this? Line of
Yeah,
work?
Line.
Line. Save this. Save this as Thor walk.
And now go open your animation ready file. And then, yeah. Now when you do it this time, place reference up one.
Hey kids, when you import FBX,
Rigged.
are there any specific options when you set it?
No, import.
Now this time when you do it,
No,
now
import,
hit
so just
save.
leave as is
Control
and
F.
import.
Right.
There, now you want us to do that.
I mean, when you're importing it through the.
Now go to your mix and load scripts and
Well, no,
import
not
the
the, I'm
idle.
just talking about the Unreal.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh.
You got it, Casey?
You mean for importing animations? Or just
Yeah.
the character?
Cause,
Because it's going to complain.
yeah, cause I know we're gonna put in the character and animation. I just went to import and selected everything and clicked import.
The animal. Yeah, just basically for import.
Okay, so from file third boss says yeah, for sure. I'm just wondering why it's not like third person idol, third person roll. Third person block. Okay, hold on. So I've got all of those in there. So let's go. Let's go to content browser. Right. Okay, so where are you at? Let's see what we can do for you.
Now we're looking at Thor file, so when I did have my textures, they left out of it. Save it as something. Then I have to select it. I can crash
good?
Yeah.
You just double click on the animation.
Yeah, you're supposed to do that.
Click the animation. So,
So remember how y'all download pictures and y'all went back into Thor and somebody.
But this is just a learning experience.
Then right after that, right? So we're supposed to fix it.
Okay, so did you ever fix the chin?
No, he's that's his name.
Okay, cause I can show you mine. 'Cause the only thing I need to do with that is fix the hand.
Okay.
So, I got it. Learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we supposed to fix that?
Fix what? Go to. You should have a.
You guys good?
Yeah, how do you fix the hammer? What file was the one you fixed the hammer? Was the Thor animation ready?
The big file.
Go to your, go to the Thor big file. Supposed to move the hammer in position.
Hey guys, I'm gonna move ahead here for the guys that are caught up here. There's just a couple more steps in this video. We need to also replace the walk and the run. So right click on the run, re-import, and just swap that in. So run to Unreal, and then replace the walk.
You gotta get like a real change. Like, that's one of the things like that I find is that helps me the best is having like as organized a like save chain as humanly possible. Like knowing where everything is, having everything labeled right, like file, being OCD about that crap.
All right. So once you import the run, and once you import the walk, this guy should be good to run around, but we haven't done anything with his cape. So we need to go ahead and load in the cape physics files. So instead of animation, let's move on to mesh. So click the little mesh button in the upper middle. And then on the left-hand side, if you scroll down, there should be something in there that says clothing, and it says add Apex clothing file. Click on that and load in your Apex clothing file, which we exported. Add Apex clothing file. And that should be called cape.apx. And then you're going to scroll up, and then you should have 3 materials there: Thor, cape, and hammer. And under cape, there's a clothing drop down. Right now it says none. Change that to cape.apx. And then it will load in the physics settings for the cape.apx. And the last thing is the cape is see-through on the underside, and you can see on the outside. If you double click the cape material, there's an option on the left hand side checkbox, of course, that says two-sided. Check that checkbox on and hit save, and then you can go back to your skeleton. There's another kind of cool option here. So now it's a two-sided cape. There's another cool option here with physics, and everybody just look up here for a second so you guys all get it. If you click on show, it's kind of buried deep, but if you click on show and go down to clothing, there's all kinds of clothing options in here, but you can turn on a checkbox that says apply wind and crank up the wind strength, so you can actually see the cape like moving in real time. Doesn't move a whole lot, but once you get all that stuff loaded in, if you click on your mannequin in your main view and double click or change the drop down to Thor and hit play, you should now have Thor running around in the game with a cape. That looks pretty fucking badass, to be honest with you. I mean, the cape could definitely use a little bit of work, but...
Yeah, I got him to wear as a bib.
You what's that?
I got him to wear as a bib.
Oh, hells to the yeah.
You definitely use a little bit of work, but... okay, so we are going to...